This time I'll call the May 16th, 2019 meeting to order for Dixon County Commission. Would you please stand and join in the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On our agenda, we have 3 items that we'll be adding. First, to set a hearing to vacate a section of 800 Avenue on Union Township. The second item is that of an agreement with Saline County to share a zoning director. And the third item is the tubes for 1276 Lark Road on those bids. And I'd move that with those 3 items added to the agenda, we approve the agenda.
Second.
We have the motion and the second for approval of the amended agenda. Is there any discussion or questions? Otherwise, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the consent agenda. This includes the minutes of May 9th meeting. This is payroll $404,297.33, the abatements of $1,301.66, wire payment, which is credit cards of $19,693.28, wire payment, utilities $6,854.54.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
I second it.
We have the motion and the second for approval of the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this time, we'll go to commissioner comments. Craig, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Nothing.
Ron?
Nothing.
Okay, the only thing I'd mention is earlier this morning we had our budget process continuing, and we had groups come in. Central Kansas Free Fair came in, K-State Extension, and we heard their request, and then also the Judicial Holding Center over in Junction City was here. I do have a board meeting for Central Kansas Mental Health, regular monthly meeting on Monday that I plan to attend. So that's, any other comments from the commission or reports? Otherwise, at this time, we'll go to proclamations and petitions. And so we could have those of you that are here for EMS, if you'd like to come forward, and we'll go ahead and read the proclamation. So you can.
Maybe want to get a picture out in the hallway.
You think so? I don't know.
We might squeeze in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll find out. We might overflow here on
You're
the
staying out there,
sides.
John, huh?
Okay, I'll stay here. I'll take the picture.
I'll make that sacrifice. Oh, Barbie.
I'm getting clear out of the way.
You guys
We could get you in the picture, Barb.
Come this way, over to this way, we'll it out.
Yeah.
Back out a little bit.
Okay, I'll go
Might have
ahead
to
and
get closer.
read this first. The proclamation is for Emergency Medical Services Week of May 19th, 25th through the 25th, 2019. To the people of Dixon County, Kansas, greetings. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service and the members of our emergency medical teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas emergency medical services have traditionally served as the safety net of America's healthcare system, and whereas emergency medical team consists of emergency physicians, emergency nurses, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, educators, administrators, and others, and approximately 2/3 of all emergency medical services providers are volunteers. And whereas the members of the emergency medical service teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. Whereas Americans benefit daily from the knowledge and skills of these highly trained individuals and it is appropriate to recognize the value and accomplishments of emergency medical services providers of designating Emergency Medical Services Week. And whereas injury prevention and the appropriate use of EMS system will help reduce national health care cost. Now therefore we of County Commissioners of Dickson County do hereby proclaim the week of May 19th through the 25th, 2019 as Emergency Medical Services Week in Dickson County, and encourage all residents to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. And this will be signed the 16th day of May 2019. Is there a motion to adopt this proclamation?
I'll make a motion to adopt the proclamation.
And I'll second it. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And John, would you want to go ahead and
I'm over here.
you're over here? If you go
Introduce
ahead.
everybody?
I knew you weren't John. But yes, go ahead.
Dave Bean, he's the assistant director. Danny Hernandez is a EMT force here. Brittany Buller. Curtis Osmond, Eric Wicks, Chris Leach, and this young gentleman here is Landon, as a paramedic as well, so.
No, have most of you been doing this 5 years, 10 years, or
You guys
what's
can-
kind of an average?
Yeah, don't challenge me with that, so they can tell you that.
Wow.
20 years?
17.
6 years.
Year and a half. 30.
Okay.
5.
9.
That's great. You know, you think of all the accumulated experience and challenges you faced, and also all the changes, but you know, I know it's a greatly appreciated service, and
One I hope not to use.
well, yep, and you're there in a time of
One
need.
that you shouldn't use.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, John, we'll keep one for our record, and then we'll go ahead and have one for you. And
Okay.
any other
No.
comments, or that's?
We'd like
Thank
to
you.
thank you for all your guys' support of us.
Can I get one more for
No, thank you.
Everybody looking at the camera this time.
John, it must be a rule that nobody can smile because the sheriff department does the same way. Nobody can smile. How good we got one.
There you go.
Thank you.
No, thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, very much.
Oh, oh yeah, I'm not gonna get up here.
It's all right.
Appreciate it.
Get my cane out of the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Brittany, nice meeting you, Jimmy.
Sure thing.
So you're the new guy?
Yeah, I think I'm,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Sorry I couldn't trust the business your way. My wife would have appreciated it.
Thanks, Brad. Thank you. You take care. John, thank you.
The other item on this part of the agenda, if there are any public comments on any item that would not be on the agenda, if it's on the agenda, we'll have opportunity for discussion. If there's no public comments, we'll go ahead and we'll move to report of county officers. And Brad, we have you up first.
Okay, as you're aware, we had some damages last week from the storms and the high water. We had 5 locations that Martin was required to close. 4 of those I've got that are still closed. One's in the 1200 block of 1300 Avenue. There's one at 1276 Lark, 794 Flag, and 1417 200 Avenue. And those are primarily culverts or small structures that washed out. And I think all 4 of them, or all 5 of them, will be replaced with tubes of various sizes. Most of those, we had the tubes on hand already for other projects, or we just had them in our inventory. And then 1 or 2 of them we'll have to order them, but we've got them closed. Martin is working, or trying to work with Hoffman Construction and a couple of contractors to get see if they would be able to help on 1 or 2 of the sites. Given the time of year, as you're well aware, they're just getting ready to start asphalt work too. And that takes all of our crews to do that, so it's all hands on deck. So if we can get a couple of them done here before he starts asphalt next week, and then have a couple of those guys do the other two and get them back open, that's what our intention is at this point, so. I think we probably dodged a bullet to some extent, that we didn't get more rain late last week. The river, as you know, crested about, I think it was early Saturday morning. If we'd got any more rain on top of that, we would have had some really severe flooding, but once again, we got lucky. Water's still high, but it's not nearly what it was. It's dropped down, and of course, they're predicting rain starting, I think, again tomorrow night, but if it comes, doesn't come in a huge, short period of time, we should be okay, so. As we talked in the work session, we're starting to work on the plans to replace the deck up on Fair Road in the 2700 block. Martin and John were out with the engineering firm yesterday and started the process of looking at that, and got them on board to look at designing and getting some estimates and plans for that, so we'll keep you posted as that goes. The road is back open now, has been since last week at this time, with a metal plate over the hole. We just hope that we don't develop any other holes that gets worse at this stage of the game. We had applied to TransCanada a few months ago for a grant from their community service group, and I was notified yesterday that we did get awarded a portion of what we'd asked for. We'd asked for $8,500 for some new radio equipment and stuff for Chancey's truck, portable radio and a mobile radio to help with severe storms and things like that. They did give us $5,000 of that $8,500, so that'll, I think, take care of what he wants to purchase. So that's a full grant. It's total. There's no match or anything. And sometime here in the next few weeks, I'm sure they'll notify me, and a representative from TransCanada will want to come in and present that check to you guys, and we'll certainly graciously accept it. So. And then the other thing I just wanted to report that I didn't have on my list, but the overlay did start last week down on 500 Avenue. APAC Shears moved down there and started south of Hope, and they went east to Harrington. Martin said they were supposed to get to Harrington yesterday or today and turn around and start back on the westbound lane on the other half of the road. And once that's completed, they'll hit Keogh and Deer Roads going south and get them overlaid as well. And I know that those people down there have patiently waited for many years to get that done, and there's been a lot of years that when we talk to them, they say, well, we're gonna get anything done this year. Well, gotta wait a little bit, wait a little bit, and that's been several years doing that. So finally, we've done a lot of patching, we've done some skim coating, but this year they'll actually get the overlay they've been waiting for, so. That's all I've got to start with.
Okay, thank you. Doug?
No, don't have anything, thank
I
you.
got a question for Brad. How was John Goss meeting, and went to St. Joe?
No, he went to Springfield.
Springfield?
Yes, went very well. I'm glad you asked, because things are moving so fast, I forgot to mention it. He spent last Thursday and Friday down in Springfield meeting with Matt, who is the engineer with Toth and Associates. They got everything redone, and it worked out the way John suspected it would. We'll actually have less drainage areas, so they're in the process now of making the adjustments to that. As far as that overall project, we got word yesterday from the city of Abilene that they have approved everything. As soon as the historical review comes back, that it's a go. So we're right now at the mercy of the state historical office. I'm doing that review like I told you last week. So those typically, according to what they told us originally, take 30 days. They have to complete them within 30 days unless there's any incomplete information. We're into the second week of that, although we contacted them yesterday to see not to, well, kind of wanted to hurry them up, but, and they told us they have over 200 applications right now they're working on. So I don't know what that means for ours, but we're doing everything we can to expedite it, so that's where we're at, so. But as far as, John's trip was really to revamp things so we don't have to have detention ponds
Right,
and
and
things like that.
I couldn't remember where it was at St. Joe.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
forgot it was
it's Springfield, so, yep, it went well, so, thank you.
Okay, we'll go to notices and communications. We have a letter from the National Association of Counties, and I think, in essence, they want to know if we want to appoint a delegate in the event that, for credential voting, if someone would be going to the national meeting. And we are a member of the National Association of Counties. Typically, we haven't ever sent anyone there, and we do have a representative actually from the state of Kansas that goes. So we're covered. Commissioner Malm from Jefferson County is our representative. But anyways, just notification of that meeting that's going to take place. The other item we had is from the U.S. Department of Commerce, and it's in regards from the U.S. Census Bureau and pointing out the advantages and importance of participating in the census when it takes place, because it makes a difference as far as funding abilities and infrastructure improvements and so on. And I think that's something that we're pretty well on top of. Would there have been any other notices or communications anyone else would have received they'd want to bring up at this time?
I would like to comment on the census. We've talked about it before. Are we gonna try to, as a county, get the cities involved? I know I've talked to the extension, see if they want to be involved in doing it. Brad, I mean, we need to, I should say, do we, as a county?
We need to be the impetus of it.
Right. I mean, I don't think we need to do it, but we need to be the lead person on it.
Well, yeah, and that's one of the reasons I gave you that packet last
Yeah,
week
right.
on developing those community groups. I think we probably, I don't know that we want to be the ones to lead it, but the ones that kind of help organize it.
Right.
My thought was try to find one or two co-chairs that might chair that project as volunteers and go out and meet with the cities and get maybe representatives from each one and try to start that public process, so.
I've got the name of the lady that made the presentation in North Central Regional Planning, and Janelle's got it too. She's out of Manhattan. Her husband's in the service and stuff.
Okay.
Might get in touch with her, see if, set up a meeting with everybody, the stakeholders, communities and stuff, because I think it's really important that we get everybody counted.
Yeah.
That's all I had, Lynn.
Okay, and that is a good point, because not only on the federal level, but, just from a county standpoint on where our standing is within the state, it does impact a few things as far as funding, but also as far as, the attention that you receive from the state. Anything else? Okay, otherwise, we'll go back to next item on the agenda. We have a consideration of a resolution. And Brad, would you want to just kind of give us a summary report of the resolution on declaring vehicles as surplus?
Yes, I'd mentioned in the work session that we've got a semi-tractor that is down right now, and rather than put the repair money into that, I think we would like to sell that. So we've got the trailer that we replaced several months ago on this resolution, as well as that semi-tractor. We have two Tahoes that the Sheriff's Department has retired now as well, that we'll list on Purple Wave and sell those as surplus profit.
And then, as soon as they are declared as surplus, we can either utilize Purple Wave or other means to dispose of them, but.
Yeah, there's about three or four different ways that we can do that, but one of them is sell them at public auction, and that's what we do with Purple Wave.
The resolution, I'll move that we adopt resolution 051619, and this is to give us the ability to declare the listed items as surplus.
I'll second that motion.
We have the motion and second. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item we have was added to the agenda. This is to set a hearing to vacate the section of 800 Avenue on Union Township. And do you have a hearing date for that, Brad?
Yeah, what I had selected was the 11th of July.
Okay.
That'd give us time to do the advertisements, notifications. This is the east section of 800 Avenue that there is a bridge. The road hasn't been travelable for ever, as far as I know. And the township has submitted a petition to BARD for you to consider that vacate, so.
Okay, so we'll set the hearing July 11th, 2019, and this notice of hearing, as Brad mentioned, is all moved that we adopt this hearing date on
Second.
800 Avenue between Trella Road and Union Road in Union Township.
Second.
We have the motion and the second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Did you put a time on there or just?
I just put, it's 11 for the regular
Yes,
meetings.
it does say 11 a.m., so,
So that way we'll.
or shortly after the start of the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. The next item we have a copy of the zoning agreement that Brad's been working with Saline County on our zoning director. Brad, do you want to summarize that?
Yeah, this is, of course, you had been provided the previous version. I think this is version 12 or 14, but they've done a number of tweaks that's been back and forth from them to us, and through their county counselor and back to Doug, and so it's received approval, and it's got all the details in it that we previously talked about. And essentially what it would do is we would contract with Saline County to allow Tim Hamilton to work as their planning and zoning director over there for 2 days a week. And they would be paying all those expenses plus 40% of his Dickinson County salary, so.
I was over at Saline County last week and actually just informally stopped in and visited with their administrator and assistant administrator, and of course I knew they were working with Brad, but they just thought it was a good partnership and kind of expressed appreciation that, you know, it's going to not only be a savings for Saline County, but it's going to be a savings financially for Dickinson County, so.
Yeah, this is something they approached us with back the first of the year, and we've been working on, and as you're well aware, Tim's been working over there for the last couple of months, helping them in this arrangement. Just kind of testing the waters, and it's worked out well, so.
I do.
Is there a motion to approve the zoning agreement?
I'll make a motion to accept the zoning agreement.
And I'll second it. So we have the motion and second to accept the zoning, the agreement with the zoning administrator for planning and zoning, and with Saline County. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item we have, we're in need of some tubes for 1276 Lark Road, and there was a bidding process that we used on that. And Brad, would you go ahead and give us your summary?
Sure, I think it was Mark or Charlotte, one of the two, had sent out a request to the vendors to obtain bids for two corrugated metal pipes to replace the damaged structure at 1276 Lark Road. These are a little bit unique in the fact they're 11 feet in diameter, 38 feet long. They're good sized pipes, and they will replace that structure rather than us take time and the expense to build another bridge there. So we received two responses back. One from Wellborn Sales of Salina. Theirs was $39,031.28, and the other was Metal Culverts Incorporated from Jefferson City, Missouri. Theirs was $16,028.40, and we got no other bids. Both of those are to be delivered to the job site. So
I think you meant 19,000.
I didn't. What did I say?
39.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, 19,031.28. I didn't have my glasses on. so I was
Okay.
struggling.
But there was a difference of $3,002.88.
88 cents, yes.
Okay. And of course, Wellborn we've used many, many times on many projects, and Metal Culverts, a sound company and such.
Yes, I mean, we bought materials from both companies numerous times over the years, and I'm sure we will continue to do so. So most of the time, if not all the time, on any of our bridge projects themselves, where we're actually building bridge, where we need H piling or drive sheeting, Wellborn Sales gets that bid all the time because many times they're the only bidder for that material. So, but we bought from both companies numerous times. Both are reputable companies. And I think the delivery time on that was 2 to 3 weeks on both of them, so.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Or a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the metal culverts in Jefferson City for that 162840.
Okay, is there a second?
Second it?
We have the motion and the second. Any further discussion? I should have said if there's any comment, we could have that now, but,
I'd like to just introduce myself
okay.
whenever the time's right.
Well, why don't you go ahead and do that now before we
Okay.
vote and,
So my name's Bob Garber, and I took over Wellborn Sales a year ago from my stepdad, Steve Wellborn. And I grew up here, born in Abilene. And you might know my grandmother, Verta Gay. I think she knows some of you guys. But anyways, I just obviously made a few points in our proposal that, you know, we're a Kansas tax-paying company. Our culverts are made in Topeka, and the shipping company's a Kansas shipping company, and we support the Kansas County Association. So anytime, you know, the bids are close, we'd like further consideration potentially for using our company for those reasons. And I do know that I know that Metal Culverts is a reputable company. We did lose a bid by $300 down in Brown County, and they're currently 60 days past due on that order. And the county's calling us saying, you know, wish we'd have went with you, this type of thing. So, not that that makes a difference here, but just want everybody to know the facts that I'm aware of, and appreciate the opportunity to quote everything you guys are needing. So,
okay, thank you.
yeah.
Any other comments or questions?
I will say, as commissioners, I think we all agree that if it would have been a bet in that ballpark, we'd have probably went with Wellborn. Just myself, I can't speak for the other two.
Yeah, I mean,
Because we do like to keep it. I mean, when we're talking $3,000, I couldn't, if I was a taxpayer, I'd say, why the hell did you go with that one?
I would agree. I think that's
Yeah.
a pretty good spread.
Yeah. Thank you very much for coming over.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and we do appreciate what Wellborn does, and it's kind of similar to what Craig said, that, you know, sometimes if depending percentage-wise, margin-wise, and so on, I mean, there does get a point of separation, and we've had good experience with Wellborn. And of course, that's part of the bid process, you know, trying to keep it very competitive and seeing what the difference is. And so, you know, I don't know if they made it a little lower than what they intended to, or what, because they've got a further way to delivery, and I think their overhead expense would be more. But anyway, thank you for coming here, and I appreciate what you do for us.
Thank you.
Okay, we do have the motion and the second to accept the bid for metal culverts, $16,028.40. If there's no other discussion or comments, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, we do not have any other business, unless there's something anyone would want to bring up. I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
We have the motion and a second for adjournment. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries, we're adjourned.
Did everybody sign?